Okay, got my Lucky Niners lanyard. Let's see. U.S. Open golf trophy is at practice for some strange reason. No, it's because it was nearby Boston. Steph's gonna love that. He's gonna love that one. Vern KPIX. As usual, you'll just have to bear with me as I kind of working right now with all of the stuff that's going on. 7 minutes to go before Steve takes the podium, but also Draymond. So I'm going to default to Draymond. And if I need to somehow record the Steve Kerr one, then I'll have to do that in another format, probably from Twitter or something. I don't know. A lot of places to get these interviews right now. Now my internet's slow. Check out my internet. What's going on? What's up? August got here first. There it is. Jalen Brown, as I already said, we're not scared of the Warriors, and Jayson Tatum is still carrying around a basketball, pretending it's the same basketball that he carried during that timeout when when Draymond and GP2 tracked him down and didn't want him to shoot, that whole meaningless altercation. Okay. Yeah. What's up, Denzel? No, off possessions for sure. But if you think about it, it's really hard to play 100% perfect basketball. So got to give them a little bit of wiggle room. But yeah, that's why an occasional run out over the overhead sling pass by Steph, turnover dunk the other way. I pull my hair out when that happens, but I don't let it linger too long, and same type of thing. You don't let it linger too long, and people don't throw Steph under the bus for that. So whether it's Steph, whether it's Damian Lee, whether it's I don't expect Damian to play, but whether it's Jordan Poole making a bad turnover, let's not drag their name in the sand. Only Twitter does that. Okay. So maybe it was a dumb question by a referee. I don't know why Jaylen Brown would end up with a quote that says, "We're not scared of him," or whatever. Yeah, right here. I'm glad you asked because I don't make predictions. So I don't do, try to stay away from predictions, because to me, that's just entertainment. That's just Stephen A. Smith, Tim Legler, anybody, even the good guys like JJ Redick, Kendrick Perkins, Nick Wright, all these guys, Brian Windhorst. Oh yeah, it's going to be, whatever, this, that, the other thing. That's just entertainment. That's just people arguing back and forth. I'd rather just roll the ball out and see what happens. And I don't really like to make predictions because then you have the jinx factor. So predictions, I don't do awards because I don't vote on them. I don't do rankings because those are just like comparisons, and they're all thieves of joy. Still can't get that's exactly what I'm talking about, Mike. I appreciate you being on the Warriors side on that, but we better go to the Zoom. But that's just a talking head, so sort of meaningless to me what Windhorst says. But I'll get into that in the off season. Why we're supposed to have a competitive advantage. That's what we're supposed to do here as that's what we're supposed to do here as the Warriors owner, Joe Lacob. He's supposed to create a competitive advantage. Can't say that 10 times fast. All right. Got to go to the blah, 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 blah. There it is. Zoom call ASAP. Let's go. Draymond. We're going to go with Draymond. Everybody else is going to go with Steve. So we're going to go Draymond, and that's how we're going to do it. I had everything set up except the Zoom app and the Zoom call. So just like in basketball, not everything is going to go right all the time. Okay, let's try that again and hope we're not late. Jesus. 11:15 on the dot here. Okay, he's not there yet, which is good because then I can spend a minute to share the screen. Oh, there you guys go. Finally. Where are you? Pre-game interviews before Thursday night. Yes, I will do that. How do I pull up the comments? It's called StreamYard. StreamYard. We are also on Twitch and Facebook, by the way. So, yeah, I don't do rankings on the Izzy top 10 all time, but I've already said that it's scary for me to think that I would actually, let me put it this way. On my deathbed, I'll probably watch some Steph Curry highlights and forego the Michael Jordan highlights in the NBA Finals. Isn't that crazy? Or the less macabre way to say that is, if I was stuck on a deserted island, I could only watch one person's highlights of the NBA Finals. I would pick Steph over Michael Jordan. I never thought I would say that, but of course he's our guy, so I'm a little biased. But yeah. I'll bet you they're gonna get Steve Kerr right now. So I gotta get the Jalen Brown one. Let's see if I can find the Jalen Brown. Still got a remnant cough from the COVID recovery. Got some cough drops here though. And most importantly, got some water. Okay. We'll get Jayson. We'll get Jalen Brown saying we're not scared of the Warriors later, and then Jayson Tatum talking about Draymond Green. Okay. Any other questions? So yeah, sorry to disappoint, but I don't want to make predictions and stuff. Oh, here we go.
Recording in progress.
Hey, Draymond, in 2015, how prepared did you feel for the fatigue that comes with a long regular season into a deep playoff run, or is that something you had to figure out over the years?
I don't think it's really something that you think about. When you're in the midst of runs like this, you just kind of go with it, and you don't allow yourself to think about fatigue or feel fatigue. You kind of feel that after the series over, but when in the midst of this, you don't have time to think about that. It's enough to think about within a series.
Brian on the left.
Draymond, in the playoffs, it's very common, and I know you have too, have your family around with you, especially in the playoff, especially on the road. What is it like to be able to share this with your son? He's older now and maybe can appreciate what's going on more.
It's very important to not only share with my son, but my two daughters as well, my wife, my mom. You don't, after, if you would ask me this 3 years or 5 years ago, in the midst of a 5-year run, you think it's just normal and natural that you end up in this position. And then after the last 2 years, you just realize it's not guaranteed, and anything can happen in the blink of an eye that changes everything. And so you just understand that you don't have these opportunities often. And when you do, you have to enjoy them, embrace them, and share them with the people you love. This is the pinnacle of basketball. It doesn't get any bigger than the NBA Finals. And just to share these moments, with my family, with my children in particular, they're 7, 5, and 1. You want the pictures. You hope that when they are 15 that they remember this. But just to have these moments in the pinnacle of our careers, it's hard to really put it into words. It's such an incredible thing.
Chris on the left.
Draymond, in that same light, he actually took my question, but how fun has it been to grow up with Steph and Klay? And you guys look like babies then, and now where you're at, just the appreciation from them as well.
It's funny. We were sitting on the plane yesterday, and Steph, Klay, and I, we sit at the same table. And Bob walked past, and he like, man, you guys are funny. Y'all still sit together. He's like, y'all don't understand. It's 10 years. Like, this does not happen. Like, guys still sitting together at the same table. Like, he's like, guys not even on the same team for 10 years, let alone still sitting at the same table and enjoying each other's conversation and presence. I said that to say, this journey wouldn't be the same without those two guys for me. And Andre as well. Andre has been along the ride with us pretty much this entire time as well. But I couldn't imagine sharing this journey with anyone else. We've always said it. We've built this thing from the ground up, and when you build something from the ground up, like, that's your baby. And I think for us, we all appreciate each other. We understand what each of us bring to the table, and our bond it stretches far past what we've accomplished on the basketball court. You're talking the bonds; those bonds will last forever. We're linked and connected together forever. So to know that we've been on this journey together now for 10 years is such a special thing. And the 10-year anniversary, if you will, to be in this position is great. Now, in saying that, still one win away. So as special as it is, there's a way to cap this all off, and it's coming in with the right focus and intensity level tomorrow, and being ready to try to close this thing out.
Shayna in the back.
Draymond, you've mentioned point of attack defense a lot this series. How important has that been in winning the turnover battle and locking in defensively?
It's very important. I think with your point of when your defense is good at the point of attack, it allows your help defense to be there. There's no one person that can stop Jayson Tatum. There's no one person that can stop Jalen Brown. At times in this series, there has been no one person that can stop Marcus Smart. But if you put up force at the point of attack, then you allow your help to have the time to respond to wherever they need to be, or whatever it is they need to respond to, and get in the right position and help. And so I think that point of attack and just not giving up straight line drives is important, because it allows it to be a team defense as opposed to their one guy beating our one guy and getting the shot that they want.
Sam, back left.
Dre, along the same lines of your reflections on Steph and Klay and Andre, I'm curious your perspective on coach, because you got the guy who took over from Mark Jackson, going from the analyst booth straight to the court. You got the guy who won the title with y'all in 2015, the KD years, and then 15 and 50, getting in the mud, trying to figure out a very different experience. How has he changed all the way through?
He's continued to grow. I think the number one change I've seen in Steve is his trust in his coaching staff. I think that's continued to grow, and not that he didn't always trust his coaching staff, because he has, and there's always been an open door policy since the day he's walked in here. But on a day-to-day basis, you can just kind of see how he's delegated, and how he's just the way he uses Mike Brown, the way he uses Kenny Atkinson, the way he uses Jam, and the way he uses Decky, the way he uses CD and Jacob Rubin, and it's on down the line. And I think that is the growth, and understanding, like, man, I am only as strong as this group that I have standing next to me. And the way that they've built that group out, I think, has been absolutely amazing. I think it's been a huge part to our run. And I think one of my favorite things that Steve brings to the table is he is a guy that knows what he doesn't know. And that's one of the best traits you can possess in this world, is being smart enough to know what you don't know. And Steve is absolutely incredible at that. He leaned on those guys for their strengths. And I think that's huge. And then his confidence, his confidence in knowing, like, we'll figure this out, and we'll go make some adjustments, and we're going to put y'all in the best position that we can to be successful, and just never being rattled. There are times where we get a little rattled as a team, and he's just right there, a steady force, like, hey, man, just calm down, settle down. And it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always where you never, ever see him rattled. And it's just like, now he's just in these moments, and that gives us so much confidence when you walk in a huddle, when you walk in a team meeting, when you walk on the bus, and he's just he's carrying himself with the confidence that he has. You feel invincible, and I think that's a huge thing in our growth. I think that's an area that Steve has really grown. Is he, you have coaches that gives players confidence, and you have coaches that don't. And I think he has really grown in that area to where he just gives guys confidence, and that's huge.
David on the right.
Dre, y'all have been in so many high-profile championship series against all-time players like LeBron over the years. Where would you say this series ranks in terms of the mental challenge of having to anticipate 3 steps down the road what Boston's going to do, and vice versa, trying to attack them 3 steps down the road?
Well, it doesn't compare to, like, mentally playing against LeBron James, who I think is arguably one of arguably smartest guy to ever play this game. Not one of. He's arguably the smartest guy to step foot on a basketball court. And so to say that it compares to that, it's disrespectful to LeBron, and it's a lie to you. Now, in saying that, it is a challenge mentally, because these guys are super athletic. They are super young and fast and strong. And all the things that we know and have heard throughout the course of the series, they are those things. And then obviously they're super talented. And so when you're facing that, you have to try to outthink a guy. If a guy is faster than me, how can I beat him to a spot? I have to anticipate, and I have to think. I have to try to understand what he's trying to get to. And so I think that's been huge in this series, from a mental standpoint, and just trying to understand and be a step ahead of them. But not as much of a chess match as it is when you're playing LeBron, who is dissecting every play in the computer of his, like, in real time. Like, that's just a skill that not many people possess. Not many people can come and sit here and find a random stretch from 7 minutes to 4 minutes in the second quarter and give you every play, like, to the T, and not miss a beat. There's not many people that can do that. Now, in saying that, they do have a guy over there, Marcus Smart, who is extremely smart, who it's like a chess match going up against him. And, he is kind of the brain of that team. I think every team you kind of have that guy that's the brain of that team, and they have that in Marcus Smart, a guy who I have a tremendous amount of respect for as his basketball IQ. And so it's a challenge for sure. And Ime is extremely smart. We know his pedigree. So the challenge is there, but you can't put it up there against LeBron. Like I said, he's just probably the smartest guy we've ever seen play basketball.
Last one, Tanya in the middle.
If you can think back to 2015, the first time you were on this stage, do you remember if you were appreciating the moments, taking those photos that you're now talking about at that time?
No, it's all a blur. You're kind of just living in the moment and going, and you just kind of go with the flow. My life in 2015 was totally different than it is now, though. I didn't essentially have my own family, kids, wife. I was a kind of a boy still, growing. And so my life is just in a totally different spot than it is now. So even the things that you appreciate, the things that I appreciate today, I didn't necessarily appreciate those things then. I didn't. In 2015, I hated taking pictures, and I didn't really put two and two together. Like, man, these memories are so important. In 2015, I was like still getting tired of pictures. It's like, oh man, it's always a camera here and it's a camera there, as opposed to embracing all of these things. And so I think it was a totally different space for me. I think it was a totally different space for all of us. But as you grow and you realize these things, they aren't promised, and you try not to take these things for granted, and understanding that you're probably closer to the end than you are the beginning. It's just a totally different. It's just a totally different appreciation that you have for these moments now as opposed to then.
Thank you, Draymond. Got Jordan heading up here next.
Recording stopped.
Jordan Poole next. Let's check the other one. See if Steph's ready, but I do want to fix this up, and if Jordan gets there before I do, then I'm screwed. Let's see. Yeah, he's there already. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Question for Jordan.
Stay here.
Dalton, we'll go to you.
Hey, Jordan. Draymond was kind of just talking about how he still sits with Klay and Steph on the plane, and how Bob kind of reminded him how special that is on the way here. Just kind of wondering what your thoughts are on kind of this last plane ride of the season, and if you're able to kind of soak that in at all.
Yeah, I try to have a good balance of still being locked in, and kind of like what you were saying, appreciate the moment and embracing everything. Being where your feet are, and talking to these guys about the moment, and really accepting it. And it's cool, obviously, but we're here still to win one more game, finish it, and hopefully have a better plane right back. Nobody.
Anything else for Jordan? Vince?
Jordan, Boston has played, I think, 2 7-game series coming into this one late in fourth quarters. They don't seem to have the same level of energy and bounce they've had earlier in games. Can you sense when they're getting tired because their guys have been playing 40-plus minutes and had a shorter bench? And is that something you feel like you guys have sort of exploited?
It's all a game of runs, and I think that's something that points out. We're a team that likes to get up and down a lot. We got a lot of depth, so being able to continue just to run and play with pace and speed, and get up and down as much as we can, I think it wears a lot of teams down. They, like you said, they also have been in a couple of 7-game series, which will catch up to you later in the season. But they're still fighting, and we just still got to find ways to close out games and get wins.
Anything else? Thanks, Jordan.
Should we go to Klay real quick or stay with Wiggs? I'll give it 10 more seconds. 9. 8,
Recording stopped.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, go to Klay. This one. and it'd only be partial Klay. Sorry, Wiggs.
Recording
And we
in
know they're gonna
progress.
play with a sense of desperation. So for us to match that or exceed that, it's going to take the most effort we've had to give all year. But I can tell you this, we're all ready for the opportunity and we're all very excited.
Klay, from a historical perspective, people probably remember this team as being, or this franchise, the Warriors being a great offensive team, revolutionizing the game. But do you feel that defense is the foundation of championship runs for this group?
Yeah, I think it's a great mix of both, obviously. I mean, what gets overlooked is our versatility on that end. We have players who can guard every position. And we have obviously great defensive schemes as well as coaching with Mike B and the rest of the staff. They got us watching a lot of film, knowing the players' tendencies. And then we just got guys who play with great heart. So mix all those together, you got a potent mix.
Anthony?
You've had a few like kind of those quick hand steals. I was actually just talking to Andre about it. They're almost Iguodala like steals. Do you feel like that's something as you're getting older, you're getting more confident or doing more often, trying more often?
I think I've always had hands, so not to Andre's level, but you know, I'll sneak a couple a game, and hopefully that will swing the momentum. Most of the times I do. Nice.
Right here in the front. Next seat in.
The Celtics talks about the officiating kind of getting into their head in Game 5, and I was just wondering how much do you guys feed off of that in game, noticing that your opponent is unraveling or losing their composure in the way that they did?
I don't think we focus on it too much, to be honest. We have a next play mentality, and we're just worried about, you know, getting a great shot up in those moments, not what the other team's talking about. So basketball is a very continuous game, and if you're out there talking to the officials the whole night, you might get in your own way.
Sam, up on the right.
Klay, Draymond on the other side was getting reflective and talking about your guys' journey. And within that, I was curious to get your perspective on coach. You know, you got the guy who took over from Mark Jackson, is getting his feet wet after being an analyst. You got the guy who, you know, shepherded the championships, the KD years, and then the last couple where, you know, waiting for you to come back, the 15-50 struggles. What kind of changes have you seen in Steve as a coach?
I haven't seen many changes, to be honest. I think Steve's pretty much been the same since 2015. And I mean, Steve's had such an incredible, unique career from player to coach, GM. He just knows how to gel talent together, and then he draws from his playing days, which is really cool to hear him talk about playing with Mike and Scotty and the Twin Towers in San Antonio. So the man's knowledge for the game is second to none, and that's what I love being around him for. He's got so many historical examples of how to get out of sticky situations, and he's a great leader, and he deserves every praise that comes his way.
Tanya, last one in the back.
Klay, another thing that Draymond was talking about was he mentioned this scene where you and Steph and he were sitting together eating at some point, and Bob Myers came by and was like, you guys are still together, you're still sitting together. Just from a personal level, like, what is it about the personalities of the three of you that, you obviously mesh well together on the court, but you like being around each other?
Well, I don't know about that. I owe Draymond some money at Domino's, so I don't really want to see him too many times. So that's funny. That happened like 2 days ago, and I was half asleep. Draymond and Bob were chatting their hearts away for 6 hours on a plane ride. I was just trying to get some sleep. Good times. That's
Thank you, Klay.
Recording stopped.
Classic Klay, man.
Recording in
man.
progress.
This is like so worth the price of admission, is it not? I mean, oh man, I'm so glad I switched over. Sorry, Wiggs. That was an incredible interview. We got Steph coming up next, and
All right, we'll take the first question over here on the left side on 2 in the third row.
It's Shane Young with Forbes Sports. Just curious, when you're this deep into the playoff run, or the playoff series, I should say, how important is it for that mid-range creation that Andrew Wiggins gives you?
It's important what everybody gives us. I think there's adjustments from game to game that you either prepare for or you kind of meet head on in the middle of a game. And you need everybody's skill set to create space, to create flow, create good shots. And to your point, need, Wiggs to shine when he's attacking the basket or when he's, taking a one-on-one matchup, with space to be able to, get a good look and keep the flow, and the momentum our way. So there's a reason he fits well with what we do and has a specific way of impacting the game for us on both ends of the floor, but obviously offensively as well.
Anthony, on your right.
Yeah, you were in the back of the room just listening to that last Klay answer. What was your perspective on that plane ride?
It's, after whatever it has been 10, 11 years, there's a lot of stories and a lot of comedy on a daily that we could talk about, but all the personalities are so different. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, but we've all gelled around a collective unit of how we do things, and whether it's in the locker room, on the plane, the hotels, like whatever it is, we know how to have fun and gel and keep things light, but also understand what we're trying to do and why it all matters in terms of winning games. So Klay has a great way of explaining that, though. It's I just love his perspective on a lot of things.
Michael up front.
Steph, has anything surprised you about Andrew's postseason run, just from their perspective that coming into this year, he'd only played in one playoff series in his entire career?
It's amazing what you do with opportunity, and take away the comparisons and the narratives around him as a number one pick and what everybody wanted him to be and what, his first 6 years in the league looked like. There's a reason, we wanted him here. There's a reason that trade made sense for us. And there's a high hope that he would be able to figure it out at this level in terms of taking his scoring ability, his athleticism, his defensive potential, just taking it to another notch. And there were bright spots that first year, even though we only had, I think, maybe 10, 15 games, whatever it was. And then last year, taking another stride in terms of his consistency on a daily basis to this year where he's an all-star starter. He's shining on the brightest of stages in the playoffs. And you can tell how much he's enjoying it. And it's just amazing to see things working out in his favor in terms of kind of dispelling all the narratives around him and who he is as a basketball player right in front of your eyes.
On your right in the front. Steph, as someone who's been a Red Sox fan, you kind of embodied in a lot of ways the same stature in San Francisco that David Ortiz embodied in this city. When you were watching that team as a younger man, did you take anything from the way he carried himself and the way he interacted with the city that has been part of who you've been in a similar role?
I wouldn't necessarily say I learned. I was just inspired by it. Like you said, Steph Curry is the big Yankee fan. I'm the big Red Sox fan. And growing up in North Carolina, like I didn't get to come up here ever to go to games or anything, but you just watched and enjoyed the history and
just those iconic moments that Big Papi was always a part of, even the championship moments, and the way that he was kind of an ambassador for the city, a spokesman for the city, and just the I guess the reception and the chemistry he had with this town. So all of that is inspiring for sure. I had my a raver of a bachelor party at the Red Sox game for back in 2011, and I got to come go to 2 games in the inter league series against the Cubs, and I got to connect with him for the first time and meet him. He gave me a bat. Got to go into the depths of the Green Monster and just see like just the atmosphere and what the culture that he was trying to continue as an iconic Red Sox player. So all that stuff mattered, and it was just dope to have that kind of come full circle for sure. And pretty special career, obviously, that he had.
Cassidy in the back left.
Steph, Kerr was basically saying that he doesn't know how Klay has the success as Game 6 Klay. How do you see that from Klay and how he has these moments? And given how Draymond said that he expects you to be livid heading into this game, do you feel like you can channel to having Game 6 Steph?
I will in no way infringe upon that nickname for Klay. I'm just going to do my job and try to help us get a win, enjoy what that would actually mean. But Game 6 Klay is, I don't know how he's been able to do it. Like just his personality, no moment's too big for him in terms of just hooping and enjoying himself and embracing hostile crowds, or if we're at home, enjoying the home atmosphere. Obviously, the OKC game is the one that's at the top of the list in terms of how much that meant individually and for us as a team to come back in that series. So he has a knack for those type of big moments. It just so happened to be Game 6, and he has another opportunity to add to that tale tomorrow.
Al in the middle.
Al Sarasovic, San Francisco Examiner. Steph, you're one win away from a championship. How do you balance the magnitude of that moment with the need to remain focused and calm and play another basketball game? And what kind of advice might you be giving to some of the other younger teammates who are facing this for the first time, perhaps?
Thankfully, I think having been here 6 times and been in a lot of different closeout type of opportunities, you just understand what the nerves are like. So you can rely on that experience for sure. We understand the specifics of how we need to approach the game from a physicality perspective, our game plan adjustments from Game 5 to Game 6, understanding what the building is going to feel like, and that energy and being prepared for it. So you got to remind yourself of that as much as you can before the game starts. But at the end of the day, once you get out there, you have to just be in the moment. You got to be, present as much as possible, not worry about the consequences of a win or a loss. Because all the only opportunity you have is that 48 minutes. And the more you can kind of trick your mind into just being in the moment and staying there, that's the best advice I can give anybody in that situation. Because it's going to be the hardest game you've probably ever played in your career because of what the stakes are.
Monty, last one on the right side.
Stephen, with all the back and forth going between the fan bases and, T-shirts here and chants there and so forth, are you able to, what do you make of it? Do you enjoy it? Do you feel it's amusing? How do you see all that chatter going back and forth?
I'm the petty king, so I know all about everything, and I use it as entertainment and just have fun with it, because the more you're on the stage, the more you realize the attention that's on you, how much it means to each fan base, how much it means to the cities. So you can't really be surprised by anything, because there's a lot at stake when it comes to winning championships. And I think maybe back in the day, the first 2 years, maybe kind of things catch you off guard just because it's so new and you're wondering how all these narratives kind of come up or all these distractions pop up here and there. But I think the more that you get into these environments, the more you use it as entertainment and fun and embrace it, because honestly, you wouldn't want to have it any other way, knowing that you're on this stage and you're playing for something that really matters to a lot of people.
Thank you, Steph.
All right. Well, it's over, but I can go and grab the Wiggins one and the Steve one
Recording stopped.
and do our best to cover Steve and Steve and Wiggins. Let's see, Draymond over there. Send Klay over there. What else? That was Steph. Get Steph uploaded. We have Jordan Poole. Let's see. Oh, that was the end of Klay. Technically not Klay completely, so I still need to get the start of Klay. And we had 4.5 minutes of Klay to end that. And under 2 minutes of Jordan Poole, unfortunately. So let's see if we can get somebody to running. I mean, unless, let me check and see if Wiggins is late, but I doubt it. Yeah, we're done with that. Okay. Give me 24 seconds as I do some work here. And upload Jordan Poole. I got to upload Jaylen Brown because he had some, we're not scared of Golden State quote. Jayson Tatum had another question about Draymond and his basketball, so he joked about that. Get a little bit of that. Just Tatum. Okay. And let's see what else is there. Oh, we got Steve over there. Okay. Let's see if we can grab Steve at all. Not yet. 6:15. Okay. Yeah, I can go grab Steve off of this other source. All right, so a little bit, I need another shot clock.
Does he look fresher, bouncier?
Okay, so that's Steve, and downloading that right now. So I'll get Steve up for you real quick. What was that? Jaylen Brown. Tatum. Get Poole done here. and I'll be with you probably in the next 24 seconds. Be able to check the comments, talk about stuff. Brown up there. Upload Tatum. And then Steve. And then we'll run Steve. Okay. Ten more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. Didn't beat the buzzer there. Whoops. But I do have Steve ready to roll for you guys. Throw it down there. Let's listen to Steve real quick. Share screen. Prep that. Answer your questions. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, by the way, everyone, please splash that like button. And then I'll copy all of these comments that you guys had here. Do a drawing later. Did we lose some lose Bruce? What was my last? Curry was okay. Curry was okay. Okay, there we go. Man, that's a lot of comments to copy. Okay, catch up to your comments. Jan Cortel, what's up? Not a nice thing to say coming on board right away like that. Geek to the second power. Rude people. I'll just delete your comment. He's so rude, man. Like, can't you be nice on social media? I don't get it. You're so pent up, like with some negative thing happening in some other aspect of your life. You want to dump it on my channel. So you're having a bad day, or you don't know that you are, but something in your life's not going right. And then you stumble upon me right here. What the fuck am I watching here? Like all mad and stuff. Come on, man, be happy. Would you do that on your birthday? Would you do that on Christmas? Would you do that on New Year's Day? Would you do that on your wedding day? Why is any other day different? That's how you should approach life. Yep, still got that cough. Thanks for your concerns. Ooh, Scott Foster. You know, I think Scott Foster's okay, though. I think he's okay. Yeah, let's check and see Wiggs. Let's do Wiggs, too. Any other ones? I will name my future grandchildren. Okay. You're going to name your grandchildren? Oh, we got a Let's Go Warriors with a couple basketballs in them from Taina. Thank you. There it is. Ah, that's beautiful. This is thumbnail worthy. Oh my gosh, we got 357 people on here. Thank you. Welcome. Wow. Man, that's not only thumbnail worthy, but I'm going to tweet it out because We have 357 people. That is the thumbnail. Tina? Is it Tina? Probably Tina. It's either Taina or Tina Gonzalez. Gets to be on our thumbnail. Sorry to butcher it if I did butcher it. Let's see. About to cover all the other interviews right now, including Wiggins later. Warriors NBA final. Oh gosh. All the media availability. Yeah, let's get that thumbnail up. Let's get the copy link address. No. Here you go. Tweet that out. So you're on Twitter now, Tina. Go check Let's Go Warriors on. Nah, don't check Twitter. Twitter's a waste of time. But just did that, and then I'm gonna post it on our Instagram. Okay. Save photo. Copy that. Okay. Let's do that. Going as fast as I can here. And $30 likes. Let's get some more likes. How's that? Let's get some more likes and then I'll do a giveaway. How about that? Giveaway details are in the description. But it sure would be nice if we get some more likes, more than, 30 out of 357 concurrents right now. So please splash that like button. Pretty please. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, I think Klay is due. Klay is due. Oh, thanks, Henry. And Dubs we trust. Okay. How's the trust level? Yeah, I think we're good for tomorrow. I don't think so. The energy, CNN. Yeah, it'd be so fun to win on the Boston floor. They deserve it. They deserve it. Let's see. Don't worry. Be happy. Thank you, Edward. Let's see. Yes. What a season. What a season. What a season. I see you, Ball Plea. It's been a while, Ball Plea. But I'm not gonna show your comment just to, don't want to jinx it, Steph. Don't want to jinx it. Who's the ref for game 6? We don't know until the morning of the game, but you can look it up. You can Google it, NBA officials, and go to the NBA.com site and tomorrow morning. Thanks, Alejandro. Thank you. Jeff, what's up? He was sleeping. Klay was sleeping. Okay, let's look at Steve. Let's go. Let's go.
Does he look fresher, bouncier on defense to you this
Don't know who
series
he's
than he
talking
has?
about.
Maybe he's
Andrew?
getting better on that end.
Draymond?
The last couple games, he's looked great
Probably
defensively. I think there's been times earlier in the playoffs where he's looked really good as well. But I do think he's improved as this series has gone on.
How big were the 2 threes late third by him? when, it did feel like the rope was
Mhm.
slipping a little bit and he kind of kept you attached.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought those two
So it had to be-
shots and then Jordan's 2 threes at the end of the quarter.
What's he talking about?
Were kind of the, biggest shots of the game because of what you just said. They had seized momentum and Klay's 2 at the top of the key were just massive.
Had to be Klay.
And
Anthony
Jordan
asked him about
closed out the
Klay.
quarter well for us.
Brian, on this side?
Hey, Steve, Brian Moody, Associated Press. A couple about you, if you don't mind. Derek White was saying you were helpful to him when he got promoted from the select team to the main roster in 2019. Is there something about you that makes you comfortable sort of reaching out to the non-superstars and making them feel comfortable?
I definitely identify with role players more than I can identify with a star player, just because I have the experience of coming off the bench and trying to figure out a role and all that stuff. But I just enjoyed that time with Derek and actually 4 different Celtics. I mean, we were loaded with Celtics that year. And future Celtics apparently, but we had a really good experience despite not winning the gold medal. It was really fun coaching all those guys and really grew to admire all of them.
And speaking of the Celtics, there's so much history with them. All the guys I remember who had a lot of rings were all Celtics. And now you could be at 9 pretty soon if you get one more win. People say it's hard to win one. How do you explain getting to the number you've gotten to?
Just hanging around the right people. You hang around superstars long enough, you're gonna get some residual success following your way.
Monty on your right.
Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area. Steve, I don't know how often you get a chance to look at individual numbers of your guys, but looking at Klay's game 6s since you've coached the team, the numbers are pretty incredible. He's shooting better than 50% from 3 over all the game 6s combined. Fluke, I mean, what do you make of something like that?
I don't really know what to make of it, nor do I even take the time to think about it because it has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with strategy. It just has to do with Klay. He's got a killer instinct and he's really talented. So I don't even give it any thought.
Michael here in the front.
Has anything about Andrew's postseason run surprised you, just given the fact that coming into this year, he had only appeared in the playoffs once, only played in one playoff series?
Just the rebounding, everything else, he's always scored well since he's been in this league. He's been a good defensive player, and he's really established with us over the last couple of years that he's a key defender for us. So none of that has surprised me. The rebounding surprised me. So he's really turned it up in every series. And I'm 100% going to hold that against him next year in the regular season. If he's not rebounding, I'm going to remind him that he's proven it now. So there's no excuse.
Steve, a little bit of a more broad question, but in what ways have you seen Steph and Draymond's leadership qualities rub off on some of the younger guys throughout this entire playoff run?
I think it's just in general, just the advice, the counsel, but maybe more importantly, just the young guys being able to observe Steph and Draymond and Andre and Klay and seeing the preparation every single day, the process that those guys go through, getting their work in the training room, in the weight room, on the court, watching film. They're watching some of the best to ever do it, prepare, and there's nothing more valuable than that.
Anyone with a final question? Bobby back on the left here.
Bobby Mannix, Honest Media. Steve, I just want to ask what you've seen from your team defensively that's allowed them to be so disruptive. Are there certain things about the Celtics that you've tried to take away from them, spots on the floor, passes? Like, what have you kind of emphasized defensively? And then there's always a feeling out process in these series. Felt like you bounced around a bunch of different lineups early. Is that just sort of your coaching style, or was there something about this series you want to try different things?
The first part of your question, we're just trying to put pressure on them and not let them get comfortable. And our guys have done a pretty good job of that the last couple games. Nothing in particular that we're trying to take away. We're just you're just trying to be as aggressive on the ball as possible and be there and help and be there in rotation. We're not a big shot blocking team like we were a few years ago. So our rotations have to be really solid, and I think they have been. Second question, the first time we really had our team healthy all year was the first game of the Denver series. And what I mean by that is really having Steph, Klay, Draymond, Wiggs on the floor together, Gary and Jordan, coming off the bench, like, Looney. First time we really had everybody together was Denver. So part of this playoff run has been growing and adapting and figuring out what our best combinations are against each opponent. So it's not as set in stone as it was 4 or 5 years ago when we kind of had a set formula. We knew our team really well. We've had to figure some things out on the fly, and our players have been really adaptable during the playoffs. And so I think we've, once we lost Gary in the Memphis series, it set us back, but getting him back, for game 2 was hugely helpful for a lot of reasons. So we finally feel like we have a real feel for the team and what's needed, and the guys have responded really well.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Okay, what do we got? Man, this psychopath is relentless. Yes, I do block that psychopath from the channel every single time. Yes, they too try to infiltrate again every single time. It's pretty sad. Pretty sad. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see if Wiggins is ready to go, because that's the one we missed. And we missed half of Klay. So let me fix that on our thing. One quote from Draymond: "Our bond stretches far past what we've done on the basketball court." I love that one. So we're about to get Andrew Wiggins for the first time here. I don't think anyone's reported on this at all. 3 minutes of Andrew. Okay. Wiggins time. Just upload it real quick. Okay. Let's go to Wiggins. Bum, bum, bum. Wiggins. That's what we do here. We go crazy over all of our guys.
Played a lot of minutes since earlier in your career, and obviously there are a lot of reasons to want to make a deep playoff run. But I'm curious, how much were you looking forward to putting your conditioning to the test in this type of run once you're on a team that could help you get this far, and how are you feeling right now as you're going through it?
I feel like one thing I always do, summer workouts, it's a lot of conditioning just to prepare myself for the season. But right now I feel great. I feel great and just excited to play.
Brian on the left.
Andrew, you come from a basketball family. I just want to know what this run has been like for your family.
It's been great. It's been great. They've been to, almost every game. in the playoffs. But it's been amazing being able to share this experience with them.
Do you talk to your dad about games? Do you guys talk about performances and stuff at all?
We talk about the games, and he just tells me like if he sees anything, what I need to do, what I can do better, stuff like that.
Dalton in the middle.
Last flight of the season, just kind of wondering if you were able to soak that in at all. Any differences? Steph, Klay, and Draymond were kind of talking about how they all sit together still, and Bob Myers was reminding Draymond, how special that is.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Bob Myers was kind of reminding Draymond how special it is that Steph, Klay, and Draymond all sit together and to kind of embrace like this last flight. So just wondering if this last flight you kind of had a moment to soak that in as well.
I feel like every day being here, just been trying to soak it up and embracing it. Man, it's the biggest stage. Nothing is bigger than this. So I've been excited the whole time I've been here. I've been happy. I've been embracing it. I'm not taking it for granted. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of people. A lot of people don't get a chance to, to experience this. So I'm grateful.
Brian on the right.
Probably the first couple of years of your career, your team wasn't on TV a ton. So, we knew you, but, the casual fan didn't see you play a lot. Now with this big audience, what does it mean to you to sort of, when most people are watching, you're playing some of your best basketball?
It's always great, being able to showcase, what you can do, what you worked for. So I'm just happy to be able to be here and, the biggest stage and help, my team win.
Anything else for Andrew?
That was quick. And we also have the beginning of Klay. Forgot about that one. We got to go first X number of minutes on Klay. So let's see. Let's see how long he was up there for. Up there for 8.5 minutes. So we have 4 minutes of Klay, which we haven't done yet. So that's good. And I'm downloading that right now. Let's get Wiggins launched. Let's see. So the beginning of our Klay one was what started like this. Let's see. Got a 10-second ad here, 15-second ad.
Klay, from a historical perspective, people probably remember this team as being, or this franchise, the Warriors being a great offensive team, revolutionizing the game. But do you feel that defense is the...
Okay, so he was asked about defense. So we got to find the part where he was asked about defense and cut it from there. Let's see if it's here.
A great offensive team, revolutionizing the game.
Yep. All right, so let me cut that off. Boom. Yep. 3 minutes and 50. So this is Klay beginning. Okay. Upload Klay beginning and then play that for you. Okay. Anyways, hope everyone is well out here in San Francisco. Pretty sunny day, probably 60 degrees. Pretty good day. Okay. Klay, where are you? There it is. go look at the beginning of Klay. All right. Take it away, Klay. Oh, he's not there yet? No. There he is, 10 seconds in.
Okay, questions for Klay? Go Davide here in the fourth row.
Hi, Clay. Davide Chinellato with Gazzetta from Italy. I have two for you. First one, you went into the ocean before Game 5. I'm not sure if you have done the same here for Game 6.
I have not, but I know there's a lot of beautiful waters around these parts, so I'm not ruling it out, but it's probably a slim possibility.
Obviously, it's about Game 6, Clay. This is Game 6. Are you planning something special, considering you can win a championship this time?
I would like to have a big night and win the game, but, you know, it doesn't matter what any of us do individually. The main goal is just to win one game. So I don't want to put any extra pressure on myself to live up to my name. I just want to go out there and play free, trust my teammates, and I know great things will happen if I do those two things.
On the right, Monty.
Wait, when people think Game 6 Klay, they always go back to the OKC game. Are you aware of your history in Game 6s overall?
I realize I'm on a really good streak right now of Game 6s, and I don't know how long that will last. Hopefully, obviously tomorrow, but it's obviously a nickname I earned. I want to live up to it, but at the same time, I don't want to go in there and play hero ball. I'm just going to go in there and be myself and do what I've been doing the last few games. And I know that will allow us to be successful.
Steve said he didn't know how to make sense of it, but he said one thing is that you have killer instinct. Is that part of what's going on when you're trying to pull out a team?
Yeah, I just know after doing this for so long that killer instinct means just playing with incredible intensity, force, and will. And if you leave it all out there and you play intelligently, like that's all you can ask for yourself. And try not to say, oh, I'm going to score this many points, I'm going to lock this player up. But as long as you control what you control, and that's the effort and the focus factors, it's going to be a good night for us.
Thanks, Roback.
Kendra Andrews, ESPN. Klay, you guys have struggled to close out series at your first opportunity so far this postseason, and Andre just said clinching is the hardest game you'll ever have to play. What makes closing out a series difficult, but then does having a championship on the line, does that make it even harder to close it out mentally?
I don't think the championship we think about too much because we've talked about it, like just being present, and you do yourself a disservice if you think about things that don't even exist yet. So on your first point, it is very hard to close out a series, and this is a very good team, and we know they're going to play with a sense of desperation. So for us to match that or exceed that, it's going to take the most effort we've had to give all year. But I can tell you this, we're all ready for the opportunity, and we're all very excited.
All right. And then the rest of it rolls right into what we already saw earlier today. So I'm not going to repeat that. It is on our YouTube channel actually already. And then now we will go into Celtics territory because we just cover everything here. We can't help it. And I'm probably very behind on not only the comments, but also on let's everybody please smash that like button as we roll into Celtics territory interviews. Thanks. Okay. We're gonna do a drawing right now. Okay, so I'm gonna close the window. That's cold. Under 60 degrees here. Did the commissioner clear protocols? I don't think so. I don't think you can clear protocols within a couple days. Florida, 100 degrees. Sheesh. Yep, Rob Miles is on the further from the ocean than I am. I'm right by the ocean, so let's go Dubs with basketballs. Everybody hit that everybody hit that splash button, that like button. Possible to watch all late. You can watch the rest of them that's going on our YouTube channel. So I got Steph, half of Klay, Draymond up there already. So getting there. See if we got Wiggins. Yeah, getting there. But we'll just make our way through this slowly but surely. Okay. So let's do the drawing. Oh, you live right by the marina? I guess you have less cloud coverage, I think. Oh, you know what it is? It's the wind. I got a lot of wind right here, right by the ocean. Yeah, Bruce. Let's get some more likes. Thank you, Toby. Appreciate it. Good for you. But you know, the scary part about being on the marina is, man, if there's an earthquake, you're on landfill. So scary. Clay is so laid back. Okay, let's do the drawing. All right, so one more time before I do the giveaway. Please splash that like button. Chase Center on landfill? I don't think so. I'm not quite sure about China Basin. That area, Mission Bay. Might be more towards Hunters Point, Bayview. So I think they're okay. Where are my comments? There they are. 97 in Florida. Okay. Let's do this. Switch over here. Here are my comments. All of them from today. Tina got the last one in. I think she's already won, though, so you guys don't have to worry about that one. But we always pick a positive comment to win. Where are my random lists? There we go. A very crude way to do this. I should find a better way, but old habits are hard to overcome. And this works. So it works. I don't see anything there. Go again. Yo, where are my comments? Let's do another one. Although I do see some good ones there. Haha. This is a fun one. Let's see who did this one. Find. But DP. I'm happy with that. You on, DP? Winner. I have selected a winner. It is DP for his comment that said, Steph sharing positive Boston memories and mentioning hostile crowds and calling himself Petty King. Man, pretty good interviews today from Draymond, giving us the little anecdote about, I mean, you think about it, the sequence of events. So Sam Amick was in the Draymond interview. He skipped the Steve Kerr one. Sam Amick, my guy at The Athletic. And then he hopped over to the Klay one and he asked Klay about the little anecdote from the plane. So for all the people out there that love to throw the reporters under the bus, oh, this question sucked, and why are you asking that stupid question? Man, your questions are all dumb. Like I see that in the comments so often. Well, this time you owe them some props because Sam Amick asked the question to Draymond and somehow got it, or whoever it was. It might not have been Sam. I can't remember. And now that led to Klay saying that, oh yeah, I owe Draymond money and dominoes, and they were chatting away for 6 hours. I was just trying to sleep. And then Steph, they had to ask him about the whole Aisha can't cook, and then he wore the T-shirt Aisha can cook, and then let me show you right here. Was it Kylan Mills that had it? Kylan Mills. Where is it? There it is. Aisha Curry still can't cook, so it's still going on. It's still going on. So the DP. All right, cool. So DP, you got to do this. Please email me at rich@letsgowarriors.com and put the word giveaway somewhere in there so that I can search on it later, because obviously today I'm pooped. I'm already pooped. Anytime I go on live with you guys, it's the most awesome experience. It's great being with your positivity, honestly. But it does drain me, and I am working. I'm still loading up stuff to the YouTube. And so that being said, I get a little tired, and then tomorrow we got the game. And on game day, I realized I cannot have any distractions. I got to stay focused. I got to be on here. 4 o'clock, 4:15, Udoka will go to the podium. 4:30, Steve Kerr will go to the podium. Meanwhile, all of these like videos are being tweeted on Twitter, all these little clips that I collect and mash together on Instagram as well. And I try to give you some pregame views. And also a great announcement. I have an announcement. Tomorrow we have hold on. Oops. Tomorrow we have a special guest. Can anyone guess? Man, get the psychopath in the comments. Can anyone guess whose trainer will come to the live at halftime of Game 6 right here? Can anyone guess? Let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me copy that comment over to Twitch and Facebook. Multitasking is my thing. Yeah. Appreciate it. You know me so well. You know me so well. Ice 778. Appreciate it. Yeah. So, oh man. Okay. So the hint. No, not Steph. Not Steph, unfortunately. He's hard to get a hold of, man, these days. Let me tell you why. Not Steph's trainer. He has been quite busy with his son's AAU stuff. So keep guessing. One more guess, and I'll just tell you. Yeah, Brandon is super busy. Exactly. Not that other trainers aren't, but actually Brandon is super busy because he's training, and then he's training his son. Whereas this other trainer I have isn't training his son yet because his son's not old enough. His son's still a baby. Nope, not Looney, not Wiseman. Man, I can't believe you haven't guessed it yet. Draymond is a good guess. I could have Travis on tomorrow easily. However, I think Travis will be in the building. It's likely that Travis will be in Boston. I'm not sure. Man, you haven't guessed it yet? No, not Klay's. That's a good guess too. But I felt it was time because I was just thinking yesterday. Maybe I was on Instagram and I saw a few Instagrams and I was like, duh, we got to get his trainer on right here. We got to get his trainer on. And he has always been so available because he lives in Minneapolis. Dum, dum, dum. O2 Wavy just barely beat DP, but DP, you won the giveaway, so you're happy. But yeah, we're going to have Andrew Wiggins trainer at halftime. I can't wait to announce it tomorrow. I'll try and find a picture of Reed Osei. Reed Osei. And yeah, we will so O2 Wavy, if you want to win the giveaway, you gotta come back tomorrow. Just join every live stream. But yeah, halftime, Reed Osei from Minneapolis will be here. Oh man, I can't wait. He's such a nice guy. All of them are nice guys, quite honestly. But wow, yeah. You got the answer. That's why. Look right here. O2 Wavy winner. I am going to tweet that out later. Yeah. So tomorrow, halftime, we'll have Andrew Wiggins trainer. What were we doing? Oh yeah, we were gonna do Tatum and Brown and Udoka, I think. Did I get those guys already? Oh, that was Klay. Yeah. Tatum, Brown, Udoka. Let's do that. Fun stuff, man. There's Tatum, Brown, Udoka, and who did they have secondary? Oh, they screwed up. Oh, okay, cool. Robert Williams, Al Horford, Marcus Smart. I don't know that they said anything cool, but you know who's a good interview is Al Horford, believe it or not. Yeah, he's good. I like that guy, actually. Nice guy. I want to tear his heart out tomorrow, but he's a nice guy. Ime Udoka. Still coughing up a lung here. Man, COVID is brutal. So brutal. Udoka, Tatum, and Brown coming up. Excuse me, coming up. Still downloading Udoka right now. Seconds away. So I want to do that in order because it's usually better to, when you're learning more about what the teams are doing, to hear the coach first. Usually better that way. So let's go through that. Where's my share screen? Udoka, ladies and gentlemen. Let's blast him bigger. Like that. Okay. Garlic with honey. Yeah, I bought some tea for that, and I bought it on Amazon. Highly recommended. And I haven't gotten around to it, but I think it does come with that stuff. Okay, let's do Udoka here. See what he has to say. 14 minutes right here. Let's get him going a little bit.
Questions?
There we
The
go.
microphone's running. First one in the back left here. Coach, how are you? Sebastian Christensen, ESPN International. Jayson hasn't been as impactful as usual in the fourth quarter in these finals. What is your assessment of his play in the fourth quarter? And what do you think he can tweak in order to be more efficient in those last 12 minutes tomorrow?
I would say we evaluate him on, not only scoring, but how he's playing in general. And so from a scoring standpoint, at times, this whole series, not only in fourth quarter, he's missed some things that he usually makes. But we do want him to be aggressive and find that balance as he's done all year. And so with Golden State specifically, they are trying to take him out at certain times of the game. But it's on him to read that and us to put him in positions where understanding he's going to be doubled and be the bait at times and get everybody else involved. And then we have to make him pay as far as that. So I wouldn't say his fourth is not as good or as bad as some of the other quarters. I mean, he's had some stretches where he missed. Game one stands out, some open shots throughout the game. And so, we want to be aggressive and make the right read, which he's done all year against all the coverages he's seen.
On your right, Mark.
Mark Murphy, Boston Herald, Ime. All of you seem to especially get caught up in relations with the referees in the last game. Do you feel you have to tamp that down a bit?
Yeah, I would say so. I think in general, just too many conversations being had at times. Feels like after foul calls or dead balls, free throws, timeouts, there's somebody talking to a ref. And so something we emphasized obviously early in the season had gotten away from quite a bit. And so, something we got to spend our energy on the game and everything else going in between it other than the referees. So an area we can be better at for sure.
Gary on the right.
Gary Washington, Boston Globe. Two questions. One, the incident or the situation where Draymond didn't want to let Jayson shoot after the whistle and came to your bench. Does Jayson have to be more pissed about that? That's not in his nature to be the vocal guy, but he kind of downplayed it after the game. Does that kind of stuff have to drive him and upset him a little bit more? Would you like to see that out of him, just a pissed off Jayson?
I would say that what I said after, I think game two, guys are going to be who they are and handle it however they feel best the way to handle it. And some people, like I said, get into it and some ignore it. And so to each his own as far as that. For us, it's a weird one where, someone follows your players to the bench and the referees say that's not inciting anything or instigating anything, but so whatever as far as that. And like I said, guys handle it differently, and if you use it or don't, it doesn't bother me at all.
Jay up front.
What do you think are the most important reasons that you guys have had some difficulty finishing at the rim and producing points in the paint this series?
I would say not strong finishes. Some of our drives haven't been as physical as the other times, and that's the emphasis with us. I've mentioned hunting and looking for fouls instead of going up to finish. Their rotations are pretty direct every time. The guy's going to be there, so it's just about making the read. And so, credit to Green and what he did, some keeping guys off balance, faking and falling back and taking away some lobs. But for us, it's really the physicality of our finishes. I think we've been off balance, not going up the strongest, and missed. And point blank, we missed them that we usually would make. But because we know where they're going to be with their rotations, it's a mix of
getting to the basket and finishing and finding your shooters or guys in the slots. And so I think we've seen that all series. Guys do it in a different way with shot blockers versus full team rotations. But for us, it's really about the physicality of our finishes. I think we've been off balance and not going up as strong as we need to at times.
Okay, for that one, I want to say this. He gave Draymond credit, but I almost think that when Draymond is at his best, DPOY style, I don't care who it is. I mean, I'd love to see Jonathan Kuminga against Draymond, but other than like Giannis, Jayson Tatum hasn't just proven it yet. He hasn't quite done it yet. Knock on wood. He seems to be due, but like finishing right there. I mean, Jayson Tatum seems to be, thankfully for us, more geared towards hitting the, sidestep three or the fadeaway Kobe rather than, slamming it on your face, finishing in traffic. He doesn't really like the contact, which is good for us, so we can be more physical with him. But I'm going to say this. When Draymond's at his best, and it's not Giannis, let's say, not this guy that's maybe maximum size Jayson Tatum. When Draymond is at his best, it's no worse than 49-51. Like, Draymond is that good, where 51-49 in our favor, I feel like, when he's at his best. So that's my 2 cents as I hear Udoka talk.
Over here on this side.
Steve Ashburner, NBA.com. When you've got a high caliber defense trying to turn you over every possession, what are the two or three most important things that you guys need to do to keep those to a minimum?
Not over penetrate is one. One or two dribbles too many can get you in trouble. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's Jayson, Jalen, Derek, Peyton. The rotations are there regardless of who goes to the basket. And so spacing is a big part of it, knowing where your outlets are at, not over penetrating. And then, the physicality, like I talked about, being strong with the ball. And so those are all things we emphasize. It's pretty set. They're going to be there every time. The low man's going to come across. They're going to crack back, and then a guy playing the backside. And so for us, spacing is huge, getting our guys to the spots where we know our outlets are at, and then being strong with the ball and making the right read. And so, big part of that is physicality with the ball, because they are a team that reaches and has really good hands.
Again, the second row.
Just going back to the late game unraveling in game 5, how much do you think it was like the officials getting into your guys' head, and what have you learned from that experience that might help you in game 6 here?
I wouldn't say anything specific to do late game with the officiating. It's a physical series, and to Gary's point, I think we're complaining at times too much throughout the game. So late game may not, be any different than first, second, or third quarter. Something we need to block out and be better at overall. But the thing you can take away is we got a little stagnant again, as opposed to what got us back in the game, which was drive and kick, had them kind of flying around in the third quarter. But, a 10-0 run to start the quarter and what got us the lead. And so from there, like I said, it could be a fatigue thing. And we'd like to get those guys a little bit more rest and have some fresh bodies coming off the bench to keep them fresh at the end of the game. And so you look at all those things as far as rotations and lineups and, the refereeing, I don't know if that impacted anything late game as much as throughout or any different.
Again, that's what makes Steve a genius. He's able to rotate 9, maybe 10 guys in, if you include Andre Iguodala lately. So the luxury of having 10 guys where your 9 and 10 are basically Bielitsa and Andre Iguodala. Udoka's 9th guy, his name is Daniel Tice. Daniel Tice is not going to do anything this series, period. Bielitsa has already done more than Daniel Tice could ever dream of, right? So, but I'm not here to throw Boston or Udoka under the bus, right? This is a standard NBA team. Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat has even fewer players in his rotation. He has probably, 7.5, 8 guys that he goes with, right? At least we saw that in the 2020 bubble finals against the Lakers. He went like 7 deep or 8 deep, and they were fried by game 6. So I just think what Steve's done and what Bob has done and just the whole culture of the Warriors right here, what Udoka just said is like, it's hard to find a good rotation where Tatum, your star guy, doesn't end up playing 44 minutes. That's the normal way of doing it. And for Steve to be able to save Steph so that he's playing, maybe 42 max, and having Rick Celebrini there telling him all the scientific data, man, we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot.
Front right.
Hey, man. 2 questions for you. First, Rob Williams has only taken, I think, 18 attempts of shots in this series. With reads and things like that down low, he's finishing very well, obviously. Is that a situation where you guys need to look for him more down low for those spots, or are they doing a good job kind of challenging and also covering him on that spot? And then on top of that, just adjustment-wise for you going into game 6, is it just when you're talking with your staff right now, is it just a matter of doing what you guys do better, or are you looking potentially at tweaks, lineup changes, anything like that at this point?
Yeah, regarding Rob, I think it is a reads, and like I said, their rotations are set. They're a team that's going to come back and kind of take the big out there, but that leaves wide open kickouts there, and you've seen that in times this series. I mean, obviously, game 1 stands out in the 4th quarter, and the last game in the 3rd, where they're taking away the driver or 2 or 3 on the ball with Jalen and Jayson specifically. Good job of getting into Rob. We have some cross matches on the board, so we can get the shot up there. But the kickouts are maybe more wide open than the drop offs in this series because they are really good with their rotations. So we're the number 1, number 2 defense in the league, and they're number 5 half court. We were number 1 this year, and so it's not a fluke when you go through a season and they're all connected like that. So they do a good job as far as that. Second question, I'm sorry. Oh yeah. We've talked about it and looked at some of the counters they're trying to make with the guys we bring in. I think small ball has worked well for us, and we obviously like to get a little more out of Peyton and Derek than we did in the last game. But Grant's been a big part of what we've done as well this year. So we know what they're trying to do as far as who they're bringing in when we substitute, and we can combat that with some lineup changes that we're looking at.
So speaking of the depth, it's crazy that our defense has been so physical and forceful and keeping guys in front for the most part. Like game 5, I would say, 95% of the game we were that way, other than the 3rd quarter. And we have neutralized Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, who were very big factors, not only in game 1, but also the previous series with the Heat and the previous series before that with the Bucks, and we've neutralized them. So really, we have made the Celtics a 6-man team or something like that, which is just tip your hat one more time to the defensive schemes, Steve Kerr, the focus, Draymond's force and leadership from the energy and the fire standpoint. Everything Udoka's saying today is to me, praise for the Warriors organization. So we're in a good spot. And I just think if we play our best, they can't beat us. It's been determined. Like the way we play defense, we keep playing like that, they can't beat us.
Yeah, Klay Thompson hit 4 pretty big threes in the second half. And generally, he seems to be getting more of an offensive rhythm in the series. Do you feel like it's just him hitting shots, or do you feel like you guys are losing them more than you should?
Well, we don't feel we were as good as we had been the first few games in the other areas. Obviously, Curry got a ton of the credit for the shots he was making early. Felt our physicality and some of the adjustments we made on him were better, but we don't want to lose sight of everything else we've done well, which is the off-ball actions, whether they slips to the basket or Thompson. You saw our first 2 or 3 possessions. They had slips for layups to the basket. So something we had taken care of well throughout the series, as well as getting to Thompson. I think we lost the rope a little bit there. And for them to have 50 points in the paint is too many, and a lot of, non-penetration points. It's off those slips and cuts to the basket. And so as much as we want to, focus on Curry, we still have to do those things well. And all that being said, they scored 104. And so if we clean up a few of those mistakes, especially early on at the start of the game, we'd be in much better shape.
Joe?
Ime, a little bit more on the potential lineup changes. I asked you the other day about the Otto Porter move with Looney, and you explained pretty well why you thought the Warriors might do that. So with that same explanation, do you now need to consider moving, I guess, Robert, just so he can be out there when Looney's out there?
Yeah, we've even in going back to the last series, coming off an injury, we've run them shorter stints, and so we take him out pretty early in the game anyway, and we can come back and match him with Looney, no problem. I think obviously the spacing, they wanted to have him guarding somebody more space oriented, and for us, other than last game, we really hadn't got off to a poor start. So no matter what they did lineup wise, we were good to start the game for the most part in the first 4 games, and so. As far as that, we're rotating Rob out pretty quick to get him back in anyway, so that's not something we're looking at as far as changing the starting lineup. It's more so who we want coming in for who, the second unit.
Your last 2 in the back corners. Adam first.
You guys have obviously been in some tough spots during regular season, some tough spots in these playoffs. What's your source of optimism right now, and what kind of things do you say or do with your team to make sure that they share it?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the big picture, and we're defending well enough to win. That's really some stagnant lulls offensively that really hurt us. And we'll have a quarter or 2 or 3 of really good basketball, and then have that quarter or 2 that really hurt us. And then that was fourth quarter a few games ago, and even last game once we got the lead and what we did well, and just for the first 9-10 minutes of the third quarter, we had a little bit of slippage at the end there that allowed them to get back into it, but. For us, we really want to focus on the offensive end because I think we've guarded well enough to win. If we talked about game 4, if we finish the game off well, not that 5-minute stint, we'd be in good shape. And so that's our optimism. We've fought off 3 elimination games and won some game 7s, but you can't just rely on that we've been there. You got to do things well to start the game, not put ourselves behind the 8 ball like we did last game. And so. As confident as we are in the situations we've been in, we understand Golden State's a high IQ, well-coached team that's not going to beat themselves. You have to go out there and take it. And so for us, confident as always because we've been through it, but we can help ourselves and play better offense overall and not aid them with the turnovers and all the same little things we talked about throughout the series.
Last one, back right.
Hey, May. Nick Coy from ABC6 in Providence. When you built your coaching staff this year, Joe Mazzulla obviously was a holdover from Brad's staff. When you added him to your staff, why did you feel he was going to be an asset to your staff, and how have you seen him grow as a coach as the season and the postseason has gone along?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to everybody in the
All right, that's a deep cut. We don't know who that is on the Boston side.
The relationship,
so we can skip it.
Obviously, with the Miami series, and
yeah, let's go to Tatum and see if he has any comments on how he's going to finish at the rim. Jayson Tatum.
Question for Jayson. First one over here on the right side on their row.
Hey, Jayson. Jalen was talking about kind of his personal growth throughout the course of the season and postseason. What ways do you think you've grown as, a player, a person, a leader throughout the course of the season, postseason?
In what ways? I feel like I've grown a lot, just as a all-around player. I think obviously my playmaking has, grown and been better in recent years, and defensively, and just, I feel like this is probably the best season I've had. Go from not making all NBA to being first team. So, there was some growth there.
Steve over here.
Steve Ashburn, NBA.com. First, are you keeping that ball away from Draymond?
Oh, like the other day?
Yeah.
Here's my ball.
You brought it, okay. How hard is it to approach a game where you guys want to concentrate on keeping your turnovers down? Don't turn over the ball. Don't turn over the ball. Does that get in the way of just sort of playing free and easy if you're focused on one area like that?
I don't think so, because I feel like, from watching film, there are a lot of things. There were some frequency turnovers, right? Some situations where we kept getting in the same spot that would cause them turnovers. So maybe we can stay away from, jumping in the air and passing it, or, jumping off one leg and being more under control, while still playing free. We can do both.
On your right, Tim.
You joked the other night that you guys don't put yourselves in these positions on purpose throughout the playoffs, and Ime's kind of in the similar vein, jokingly said a few times, so you guys kind of have to make it hard on yourselves, it seems like, to get where you want to go the way things have gone. What do you think has kind of led you guys repeatedly being in situations, and what have you learned about yourselves as a group and the way you've been able to persevere through them so far?
I think just how we respond. It hasn't been easy. It's been extremely tough. We've had some tough losses. Losing Game 5 against Milwaukee, was extremely tough. Just knowing that we had to win too, go on the road, and losing Game 6 against the Heat was extremely tough. But in those moments we just responded. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think just our will to want to win. Just trying to figure it out.
Team and obviously a different location, but do you draw anything from that Game 6 against Milwaukee going in tomorrow, given the situation and the opponent and everything? Then obviously defending champions, these guys have been in there before. Is any of that part of your thought process over the next 24 hours?
No. I mean, that was so long ago. Like, stay in the moment, and he's just going to go out there and compete. He couldn't care less what he's done in elimination games in the past. He's just playing. So, but I get it. You got to write stories and build up the drama and the narratives.
I think my thought process is, and as it was in that game and Game 7 against the Heat, it was just do whatever it takes to win. And that can look different from game to game. But we won all those games, and I felt like myself and everybody else did whatever it took. And that's the mindset you got to have going into tomorrow. And then hopefully a Game 7.
Adam.
Jayson, kind of along those lines, what's your source of optimism entering this game and kind of for the rest of the series, knowing you've been in tough spots before, whether it be earlier in these playoffs or, way back in January? How do you guys kind of step back and look at the bigger picture and say that what you want is still in front of you?
Just because it is. Right? It's the first to 4. So it's like, it's not over with. So as long as it's not over with, you got a chance. And I think having done it before, should give you even more confidence that you can. Not that it's going to be easy or it's going to be given to us, but, you should be extremely confident as long as you got a chance. And, we got a chance tomorrow.
On your right, Gary.
Gary Watts from Boston Globe. Jayson, obviously the NBA championship trophy is going to be there. You don't want them celebrating on your floor. You don't want them partying later on that night in Boston and all that. Is it up to you, Marcus, Jalen, Ime, to get everybody on collective, like, of how important this game is? I mean, do you need to be more vocal, or is it just kind of collectively assumed? Or, I mean, how do the emotions before a game like this differ from a normal game?
We are professionals and adults. We know it's at stake, and everybody in that locker room, should and is going to understand, what we got to do, and what's on the line. So it shouldn't take a hero speech or anything like that. Everybody should be juiced up and ready to play. I'm not even gonna say if they not, it's a problem. Like, everybody's gonna be ready to play. I'm not worried about that at all.
David Aldridge towards the center.
Hey, Jason, I know you guys had very difficult series with Milwaukee, very difficult series with Miami. Does this feel different from the mental aspect of having to guard a team as experienced as Golden State, and conversely, having to score against the team that defends as well as Golden State? It's kind of like a mirror image of yourself in some ways.
Yeah. I mean, they're a great team, and they present different challenges than Milwaukee and Miami. I think that's just part of the playoffs, adjusting to different teams and the different challenges that they, give you. And you got to adjust pretty quickly, moving from series to series. And this is no different. So, it's a challenge nonetheless. It's just a different one compared to playing Milwaukee and Miami.
Front right.
Hey, Jason, from a minute standpoint, you mentioned at the end of game 5, you thought, fatigue might have been a little bit of a factor for you guys in the fourth quarter there. From your standpoint, you're playing leading the league minutes. I've carried a huge minutes load all year. What's the, going into a win or go home game, what's the balance for you, and what are the conversations you'll have with Ime during a game in terms of, obviously playing as much as you can, but, balancing out the need for a little bit of rest to maximize what you can do?
Is game 6, elimination game. There's not really time to be, finding time to rest. Obviously throughout the course of the game, me and him would talk if there are spots to find time to rest, but that's what timeouts are for. And at this point in the season, at most we got 2 games left, so it's just mental. You gotta fight through that. I'm not the only person that's tired or dealing with injuries or whatever. It's the last 2 teams standing. We've been playing 6-7 months, so everybody dealing with something. So I'm not really focused on that at all. Just we got at most a week left, and then I could rest all summer.
Hey, Jason, back here. Just wanted to ask you about, Ime was just talking about building his coaching staff this year, and he said that when he was building it, the players stepped up and said, we need to keep Joe Mazzulla on this staff. Why did you feel that he was such an important member of the coaching staff, and how have you seen him grown?
Skip that.
For the last, I think, his craft in first year, and have him.
Back row towards the left here.
Hi, Manning, CLNS Media. Jason, Jalen was just talking about the pace you guys need to play at and some of the possessions where you guys let the shot clock run down a little bit. I'm curious, what is going on in certain possessions when you guys do get stagnant, or that shot clock's at 14 when you get into it? Just like, what slows you guys down at times, you think?
I think being in our spots, we just got to be conscious of, not walking in spots, getting there with some sense of urgency. You play in the half court and let them set their defense. They're really, really good. So I think, obviously, it starts with getting stops and then kicking the ball ahead, when you do get a stop, and playing in transition. Even if you don't score, just putting pressure on the defense, and then bring it back out and set something up. But, walking the ball up and things like that against them is, it's tough to score.
Davide towards the middle with the last one.
Hi, Jason. Davide Chinelato with the Gazzetta from Italy. Walking around the city, you can tell the Celtics pride, how much the city is behind you guys. How much do you think is important and gives you extra motivation to play this game at TD Garden, and how much the fan can help you, win this one?
Yeah, it's great being back home. It's the last home game of the season. So, looking forward to being in front of the crowd, knowing that they're going to be behind us and giving us that extra boost of energy as they have my whole career. So I'm extremely excited to see them tomorrow. It's going to be extremely loud in here. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great atmosphere. So, looking forward to that.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay, move on to Jalen, where he said, we are not scared of the Golden State Warriors. See under what context he said that.
Take questions around the room. Go Davide here on 2 in the 4th row. Please raise your hand. There you go.
Hi, Jalen. Davide Chinelato with Gazzetta from Italy. Can you talk about playing this game, as important as it is, at TD Garden in front of your fans? How much this gives you some extra motivation?
All the motivation in the world. Game 6 on our home floor in front of our fans. Last game in TD Garden. Nothing more needs to be said.
Gary on the right.
Gary Washington, Boston Globe. Jalen, I mean, you don't want them celebrating on your floor. You don't want them popping bottles. The championship trophy's going to be here. You want to send it back to San Francisco. Is that enough said, or do you or Jayson need to address the team and go like, and just kind of not a rah-rah speech, but just say something to get everybody going, get everybody on the same page?
It's been addressed today. We already had that mindset. Like we know what's at stake. Like I said, like he said before, all the motivation in the world, come out on our home floor and leave it all out there.
Bobby in the back left.
Bobby Manning, CLNS Media. Jalen, I think you brought up the spacing and the challenges you've had on offense, spacing the floor. When you kind of went back and looked at the film, what are some things you and others need to do to create more space out there?
Play stronger, sprint, get up the court, not let the shot clock dwindle down before we get into our offense, and then get up a late shot, get our pace up and, play a lot stronger. I think that would help us and benefit us a lot.
Tim on your right.
Jalen, you may have said a bunch of times during this run that you guys have sort of you're destined to make things as difficult as possible. And that's kind of, making it hard on yourselves. And that's part of what, you guys have powered through these playoffs. Why do you think that has been the case, that you guys have kind of had to get to these moments where you've had to repeatedly, persevere through them throughout this run?
It wasn't intentional. And we've had so much to learn, and we've learned so much throughout this process. Just every day has been an opportunity for growth, from not just the players, but our coaching staff as well, which is a first-year coaching staff, our front office, which is new as well. All the moving pieces are kind of, new in a sense. So we all been learning as we've been maneuvering on a journey. And, sometimes it's been those growth pains when you're trying to learn on the fly. And we're looking forward to each and every experience. We haven't backed down from a challenge all season, so we look at it as no different now. It's unfortunate that sometimes those learning curves turn into losses. But, we wear every experience as a badge of honor. And we take everything that we learn into the next game, and we put ourselves in the position to be in this series with a team that has won and done it before. So we're looking forward to Game 6. We're looking forward to coming out and getting the win and forcing a Game 7.
On this side, back row.
Jalen, Coach talked about over-penetrating and how 1 or 2 extra dribbles can get you guys as a team in trouble. How do you deal with a fine line between being aggressive and not over-penetrating?
Just maybe being patient, but give Golden State's a good defensive team. Like we know that and understand that. So you be patient. You see the game as best you can. You get your space and you play with a little bit more pace. I think you get stuck in that half court. It makes it a lot harder for you. But they're a good team, and this is the highest level. So we just got to find ways to be better. We got to find ways to be more successful in that end. I think playing with a little bit of pace, I think will help us out a little bit.
Third row on your right.
Hey, Jalen, you mentioned the team's growth earlier. How do you feel the challenges and some of the triumphs of this season have led to your growth as a player and as an individual?
Like I said, everything has been a learning experience. We wear everything that we learn this year is like a badge of honor that we kind of wear. We don't let it hang over our heads. We bounce back. we've been able to respond well all year. So we're looking forward to the challenge. We got to embrace it. It ain't no other way around it. Last game on our home floor to kind of embody our whole season. We're looking to give it everything we got. We are not scared. We do not fear the Golden State Warriors. We want to come out and just play the best version of basketball that we can. We know it's a good team over there. We know they've done it before, but we have all the belief in ourselves. So we're gonna come out and leave it all out there. That's the whole intent.
Joe, third row.
Hey, Jalen, what are you reading?
What am I reading right now? I'm not reading anything right now. I got a book sitting right here, $40 Million Slaves by William C. Roden. I just met him a couple minutes ago. He gave me this book, he signed it for me. I'm talking about, athletes and sports and the dynamic. And I read it when I was actually in high school, going into college. And he was talking to me. And he was talking to me about the book, and I didn't realize who I was talking to. So he wrote the book, and I got to shake his hand. So today is a good day for me already.
Last one here on this side.
Jalen, you said you've learned a lot over the course of it. What have you learned? What have been the most important things that you've learned over the course of this that you take into whether it's one more game or two more games?
You talking about this series or just in general? I got you. Learned a lot. Learned how to read the game in certain situations, play with a high level of intensity. How to mentally be more prepared than your opponent. You learn a lot of things. Basketball is something that you can't ever. You can master, but I feel like there's something that you can always get better at in some components. So I'm always looking forward to learning and growing and learning in every experience. And this playoff run has been great for my personal growth and for our team. So no matter what, I'm a better basketball player and still have a long way to go. But I'm a better basketball player than I was, the start of the playoffs. So I'm always looking forward to getting better. And in these moments, you want to show your growth. So looking forward to Game 6 on our home floor in front of our home fans. Should be a lot of fun. And that's something that we got to remind ourselves sometimes is because it's so much pressure, it's a lot of joy in this game as well. So I'm looking forward to having fun.
Thank you, John. Jayson will be right up.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up now. See you guys in 4 o'clock tomorrow. That's basically 26 hours, 26 and a half hours. Yeah. Shout out to Cal alum here. Yep. He's trying to manifest not having fear, because I don't think it's so much that there might be fear of the Warriors. It's more the fear of losing Game 6 to the Warriors. Anytime, if you've ever played competitive basketball, whatever level, there was always going to be that little bit of fear. So can we play so well that they doubt themselves, that they fear losing the game? That's the key. So, yeah. Man, thank you. That's what I do. All right. As McConaughey says, all right. Yeah, I'll just screenshot that. That's such a great comment. Thank you, O2 Wavy. So hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow, but I got to get going. I got to look for some video from practice, Steph shooting around. I don't think there was a whole lot of it, but I will try my best to find that. And then that'll be the rest of my day. And then, man, I actually have a video that's already queued up that I got to just tweak here and there, a couple more hours from Game 5. It's just taken so long to do that. So I'll get to that too. Just give you guys some content, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. So good all. Here we go. Just us 1, 2, 3. All right. Just us 1, 2, and 3.